Hello, everyone. It's me, Gregory. I am the Dragon King, and welcome to the Dragon's Den. Okay. I wanted to come to you today to let you know about some things that has been circulating in the news. We all have heard the whole Jonathan Majors situation with the video that they've uncovered, and the new video that they've uncovered and how it kind of breaks down what he was saying happened, and now we have proof and the jury is now deliberating in that case, as well as we now know as of December 16th that Christian Keys, he is an actor. He's been in multiple Tyler Perry movies. He's been on BET. He's starred in a lot of different, urban cultural films. So that's who he is. And if you want to look him up, Christian Keys, Jonathan Major, you be free to go look them up. I'm going to mention two situations. And I think that first, let me start off by saying that domestic violence, whether man on woman, woman on man, is completely wrong. And sexual harassment, sexual assault is absolutely wrong, man or woman. Okay? But within the two contrasting situations, there is a common denominator. And for the black people, once I'm going to break this down, we already know what it is, us black people, and some white people who have understood the history behind skin color and skin tone and how they are viewed in society. Okay. Now, Jonathan Major's case came out about August 2023. Well, we heard about it. No one had, hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. No one had even knew about the situation until it eventually had aired, and we started to hear stories about Jonathan Majors and a domestic violence situation. We find out that it was with his, not his current girlfriend, because that would be Megan Good. We've heard through, that it was a young lady from England, or she comes from England. Her last name is Jabari, or is it her first name Jabari? I'm not sure. But when it all came out, everybody was kind of stunned, right? Including myself, and wanted to know further about the situation, who all was involved, what happened, because Jonathan Majors is he was up and coming actor. He was Kang and Ant-Man, the multiverse, or whatever that is, the quantum verse. He was in Creed 3. Was it 3 or 2? He was in Creed 3. He was in what's that other show he was in? He was in a lot of shows, just doing a lot of, phenomenal work, right? So, people were paying attention to his stardom and seeing where he goes and whatnot. And so this happens, right? So this would have been like somewhere around August, middle August 2023 this year, when it was all happening. So when that was starting to happen, people were speculating what's going on, what's the situation, nobody knows. But what we didn't quite get ready for is the onslaught of him being guilty before a trial, before the prosecuting attorney had even taken that case. He was guilty of a classic situation of, public guilt over legal innocence, meaning the public had already deemed him guilty. It deemed him a monster. It deemed him a horrible person. It deemed him a just somebody who didn't regard another person's privacy, particularly a woman. There were multiple stories that were coming out about anonymous people saying that he did this and he did that. We saw these tweets that anonymous people were making in regards to his said behavior, his alleged behavior that he was involved in previous situations with people that knew him. Okay? All this is happening before the prosecuting attorney even took the case. It was just all coming out. I think at that point, the only thing that was going on is he had been booked. They said it was standard that if a man is involved in domestic violence, he's been accused of putting his hand on somebody, or it's been proven, or they could I'm sorry, not proven, but they have probable cause that he gets arrested and booked. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Now again, the prosecuting attorney in this case ain't even took the case. It's all speculation. They're still trying to figure out, who did what, right? We hear about all this footage that, only certain people saw. We just now started to see it this week. I think it was Monday. Monday is the what? Let's see. Monday was the 11th of December, 2023, is when we started to hear what exactly. We saw the video footage of Jonathan Majors and what he was referring to and what others, and the cab driver had said at the time, or the vehicle driver had said what he saw happen, But again, that didn't come out till, this week on that date I just mentioned. So, but with that, all that going on, the amount of hate towards this man by black women, by white women, by anybody who hates to see a successful black man, it was an absolute free-for-all in everybody's comment section that wasn't for him. I mean, people were talking, and there was two particular individuals, that really kind of set the tone for which, women in particular that didn't like this man was going to deem him public guilty versus legal innocence once winning if a trial started. But we know it eventually had one. They were talking about how he looked, what his face looked like. He looked funny. He acted weird. He did this. All of this is being said, right? This is being said in the comment section. One particular YouTuber, she was just going. She went from, oh, he did it, Duke, stop. She went from, oh, he did it, and look at him, his face is funny and weird, to no, he didn't, new evidence saying it. And then she went back to, again, saying that he did. I'm assuming it was for clicks and likes and, increase her YouTube revenue. Okay. That's where we at in 2023. There was another prominent person who's on a different platform outside of YouTube. And, her thoughts were just the same. Again, it was, look how he looks, his skin and, his nose and his funny shaped head. I mean, they were dogging this man out. He was the epitome of the predator and the alien creature. I mean, they were making this out to be a monster. People, they had his eyes looking red on their thumbnails. It was absolutely disgusting. And, I'm like, if this was a light-skinned man, I don't think he would have got this. And that's going to bring me to the next story in a minute. I don't think he would have got this, because with my hue or darker, it's, hey, babe, baby, it's my dog. With my hue or darker, we're already seen as guilty before innocence, unless you've kissed enough ass where you don't know if you're coming or going, and you have no self-respect for yourself, right? You want to be a non-threat, I guess, all the while not staying true to who you are, okay? So when I was looking at this stuff, I'm like, no, this isn't how this is supposed to go. It's 2023. We've seen all the Black Lives Matter movies. We've seen some change, not enough. But it just goes to show you, in the African American culture, we don't really believe the hype that we say others should believe in us. Okay? Although there were a lot of white people who said, Caucasian people who said, maybe he is guilty, but it wasn't based on just the skin color. As a matter of fact, for a lot of them, it was just based on, maybe he's bigger, he's taller, maybe he's more aggressive. The typical stereotypical nonsense that there's going to be spilled out by racist white people or anybody that's racist who would say those type of things, right? So that's nothing new. We've had to deal with it all along, particularly as a black man. But to have black people share that sentiment, knowing that the ratio of dark-skinned men being killed by police is a whole lot greater, almost 1,000 times, than a light-skinned black man being killed, and a white man being killed by police officers, right? I mention those statistics because you have to understand that as a black man to know that for people in your own community to feel that same way, you're not going to ever get a fair chance, right? So they were saying all this stuff about him, yeah, he did it, his skin tone, look at his head, and just really destroying this man. I'm like, wow. If we honestly talk about, black men being ridiculed by, not homophobic, but, other white people who are racist and just all of that. And here we are in this situation with Jonathan Majors. We're doing exactly what we don't want them to do to us. The black culture, particularly black women, we're doing the exact same thing that we have a problem with white folks doing when they refer to us and things that we may or may not have been involved in. It made me sick to my stomach. It made me literally sick to my stomach. And I've even seen some people say, well, that's what he gets for dating a white woman. No. You love who you love. Hold on. Sorry about that, y'all. My dog is, I don't know, he gets a little rambunctious. But anyway, what was I saying? So now we have adopted that mentality that has been stereotypical in our community. It's related to colorism. Okay? It's related to colorism. And when I mention the facts about how when it comes to fatalities involving a black man and a police officer, a white police officer, it almost never ends fatal when it's involved with a light-skinned man. Okay? And for a lot of black people, we have colorist issues amongst each other. Like this afro right now, being dark-skinned, it's, there are places that, me and let's say a light-skinned friend of mine or a light-skinned cousin, they're not going to get the flack that I get. But to have that same type of animosity and vitriol coming from your own culture is nothing new. But in the case of Jonathan Majors, these women, black women, were just tearing this man down. It just didn't make sense. And one of them had a comment section who I'm not sure if I even need to watch anymore, but one of them has a comment section that she never tried to get, just trying to clean up. And I'm sure she's dating a black man. So if you believe you've said many times you've been dating for a while, if you believe you have one of the good ones, why not demonstrate that by letting people know you're going to be respectful in these comments. You're not going to say these things about black men. I have a black husband. I have a black boyfriend. I may have a black son. That's problematic. It's not going to be happening on my channel. But no, it was led to be. It's just again, colorism is horrible. It is absolutely horrible. Now, black people have all but accused and assumed that Jonathan Majors is guilty, just like the racist white counterparts outside the community, right? Even with this evidence, this video footage, it may not change, right? Now, that brings me to my next situation. I've already said that sexual assault, sexual harassment, domestic violence is all wrong. Some people in these situations can be forgiven, move on. Some people can have to pay consequences, go to jail, and some people things happen in life. You know what I'm saying? And you just never know. But at the end of the day, it's something that, in regards to someone healing from it and moving on with their life, we all can get behind, myself included, as far as supporting that. Justice and get mine, or just having forgiveness and all that, right? Right. Now, Christian Keys had explained, and I've already explained who he is. He said that for 15 years, he's been harassed by a very powerful billionaire producer in the business. Now, billionaire producer wasn't mentioned. Was mentioned, but he mentioned it on purpose. Now let me play the devil's advocate, just like I not played with Jonathan Majors, but I'm going to play it with this situation, right? He said a lot of things, Christian Keys, in his recent video explaining what had happened to him in the business in the last 15 years by this billionaire or billionaires, who one he said was supposed to be helping further his career in terms of bringing investing in a show or a TV show that he was trying to get launched, and the other one, getting roles. So, right? So, he mentioned that in 2005, and I'm playing the devil's advocate right here, but I'm going to get back to what I'm talking about. He played the devil's. He said I'm playing the devil's advocate. He said in 2005 he started carrying microphone recorders that would record voice, sounds, whatever. Right? He said it was the first time working with this billionaire movie producer, not the other billionaire who's going to help people with scholarships, but the other one who's involved with movies and TV shows. So, as the devil advocate, I'm playing the devil's advocate here. Why would you have bought a recorder to a meeting or to interact with somebody who you've never met? And as the devil's advocate, I'm also going to ask, what were your intentions bringing that recorder? Again, your first time working with somebody like the billionaire movie producer in 2005, who you hadn't worked with before. The devil's advocate, I'm also going to ask Christian Keys, why would you then keep recording? Because as the devil's advocate, that's me, watching you tell this story, and it seems very painful for you emotionally and mentally, psychologically. You don't strike me as a man who would allow anything other than a very platonic relationship, business or otherwise, with a man. Okay? But you said this had been as a devil advocate, I'm going to say you said this went on for a long time. You mentioned incidents where you were told, you were asked to come to the room at night, go over lines. You fell asleep one time drinking a lot of Hennessy in one of their beds in their room, and they jumped in the bed with you. And you said you kept forgiving them. Then you mentioned how, and that's admirable of you. You know what I'm saying? If they did this, completely wrong. Then you went on to say that you forgive them, but you still work with them. They apologized to you, but you kept working with them. Again, as the devil advocate, you don't seem put off like your man who would have tolerated more than once. So I'm wondering, what was your agenda if you kept allowing it? Because if you are that that wouldn't tolerate something like that, because you mentioned how you, and this may not ever get monetized or whatever, you mentioned how you like vagina. You mentioned how you liked, ovaries, the vulva, the clit, the uterus. You mentioned all those. That you said you don't like penis. You play for another. You don't swing the way you swing for the other team. But you kept allowing this and allowing this and allowing this, because a man like you would not have allowed it the first time and made it clear the first time. So what agenda did you have to keep this information till you got enough of it so that you could have a story? And would it be come at a righteous time when you weren't doing a lot of work, where things weren't rolling in the way you wanted them to as far as roles? Because as the devil's advocate, and I'm just playing the devil's advocate, if somebody else would assume that you were building something. You were building something until you got enough where you were fed up with where your career wasn't going. But I got this pen that's recorded. I got this that records this. Again, I don't know if you're telling the truth or not. That's not what this video is about. Now, here's where it's a problem. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Got to check on my pooch. So here's what the problem is. Now tell us this story. Again, I'm playing the devil's advocate. You tell us this story, and you sit there, start to cry, but in a very manly way. You have these moments where you're displaying outrage, but you pull yourself back. You have these conditions of behavior that most people would say, oh, he's believable, right? But you also go into a lot of things that, as far as I'm concerned, are questionable. And maybe I'm the only one that saw this, wasn't looking for it at all. And quite strategically, once you've said all this and you've got people giving you heart emojis, again, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here. You start people sending you tweets and devil emojis while you're doing this. Not devil emojis, heart emojis while you're doing this live. And strategically, you mentioned how, because you had already mentioned that you basically are not gay. You like vagina, ovaries, uterus, vulva, clit. You like everything. Okay, great. Okay. So then you start mentioning that it ain't about me having a problem with gay men. You mentioned how you had lunch with your gay friend. Okay, again, I'm playing the devil's advocate. Very, very convenient. Very convenient. And as the devil's advocate, also convenient how you don't have a problem with gays and you do what that's you, whatever, but that's not me, okay? Again, all this is being the devil's advocate. But now you have people in the comments supporting everything you say. And they believe you. And you telling the truth. And you told this story before. Again, I'm the devil's advocate. Now you are setting a precedent for what is going to happen. Now, this dog whistle I just mentioned, saying all that about gay folks and saying that you like being involved, and you ain't got no problem with them, with everything you said prior to and your emotional position, spiritual, emotional, mental position with all this, the dog whistle is in all the other stuff you said towards the end. You are hurt, allegedly. You are hurt, but you are sending a message to those people that a man hurt you, and he's possibly of the persuasion or the sexual orientation of a gay man. Because he hurt you, he's probably a gay man, and he did this stuff to you. Now the dog whistle starts with that, and you sending out a very deadly message that people who are dealing with this, and it's coming from a suspected homosexual, you have to protect yourself from them, and you have to protect your children from them. Homosexuals, okay? Which is a problem, because as a gay man, I may be the only one that saw this dog whistle. So now somebody that has been hurt by somebody who was engaged in a sexual thing with them and actually harmed them, now you plant it in their heads that this person is probably gay, and now the wrong person who's went through this, the next time they see a homosexual or somebody that they believe is a homosexual, they're going to do something violent. They're going to do something violent without understanding what is really being said here. But getting to all of these supporters and all of this walking with Jesus, if Jesus ain't going to the door with me, I ain't going in with him. Okay, fine, for all you Christians. Okay, y'all some of the biggest hypocrites, low down, dirty, evil, corrupt human beings that's walking the earth, but you a Christian. I'm not. Having said that, everybody wants to automatically in the comment section believe that you are telling the truth, and you may very well be telling the truth, Christian Keys. You may very well be telling the truth. And I hope that you find just if in fact this is true. But even still, people are automatically believing you. It has nothing to do with your story. I can guarantee you that it has something to do, sit down, sit, with, I was talking about my pooch, has something to do with your skin color and how pretty you look, your textured hair, and all those fantasies they've had about you in all those movies with your shirt off. Meanwhile, Jonathan Majors is a bigger star than you. He is doing things that are on a level that you have yet to accomplish as far as blockbuster movies. Let's just call it what it is. But because he is dark-skinned, he looks the way he do, and is not as pretty and attractive as you, and have that light skin and that good textured hair, he's guilty automatically, and you are not. That's the problem I'm having, and I tweeted about it already. See, this is where you know colorism is horrible. And all the black people, all I saw in those comment sections was, oh, he's so handsome. Who would do this to him? He got to be telling the truth. He's so handsome. He's so sexy. You know what I'm saying? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Meanwhile, when Jonathan Major's situation came out, yeah, he did it. Look at his skin. Look at his nose. Look at his face. All of that. He's weird. He's this. He's that. But you, oh, he's telling the truth. He suffers so much. It's about colorism, period. Because the black community has automatically believed everything that you said. Everything that you said. Everybody is with you. Everything you. And we don't even know all the facts of the case. You ain't even submitted no evidence yet. You say you got it, good. But you ain't even submitted no evidence yet. And everybody is on your side. And it ain't got nothing to do with you may or may not be telling the truth. It has something to do with your light skin. And please don't tell me that it does not. Because you barking up the wrong tree. For real. You barking up the wrong tree. That's what it's about. Colorism. Both of these situations are about colorism. Particularly in the black community. Y'all need to be ashamed of yourself. You automatically condemn Jonathan Majors, but you will support light-skinned, pretty boy Christian Keys because he said it, so it must be true. It ain't got nothing to do. It's about his aesthetics. Y'all are horrible. And for you YouTubers that automatically condemn Jonathan Majors, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. For real, shame on you. Shame on you. That's all I'm going to say. Dose of reality, black community. I don't care what celebrities who support Christian Keys. We haven't heard nothing yet. You are the same celebrity supporters that if it was a dark-skinned man, y'all would not be on this side. You would not be on this side. You would not be on the side. This ain't got nothing to do with his story. This has something to do with the color of his skin. And how that has guided your decision, your perception on who telling the truth and who ain't. It happens all the time. No matter what the situation in our culture, colorism plays an effect on what we support and what we don't support. And if you think I'm lying, you lying. Colorism dictates what we support and what we don't support in our own black community. And y'all know it to be true. So until the trials come out and then something happens with Christian Keys, I'm not going to believe what he's saying. Hold on. And like I said, until we know the truth on both sides, for Jonathan Majors, it's going to be his trial on December the 18th. The verdict comes in. And for Christian Keys, y'all favorite out of the two, I'm still going to wait till we get all the evidence. He said he got it. I'm going to be waiting patiently to see it. And when it comes out, and based on the context of it, then I might change my mind. But at the moment, no, sir. But either way, whether I change my mind or not, colorism has dictated who we support in both of these scenarios. Period. Now, thank you all for coming. Hope I educated you, at very least entertained you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, tell everybody about it. My name is Gregory. I am the Dragon King, and thank you for coming to the Dragon's Den. Have a wonderful night.